Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Prince William, the Earthshot was a flop, which we already knew that was going to be. But more importantly, and when I say more importantly, are we going to talk about the way this separation is just becoming more and more obvious? William skipped Remembrance Day. The future King of England skipped the Remembrance Day, right? The only thing William wants to remember is, where's Rose? Is Rose here? Is Rose here? William skipped Remembrance Day, but Kate was allowed to show up on the balcony this time because William last year, Kate wasn't allowed in. She was sick, right? Kate wasn't allowed, but this time she stood next to her baby boy. She stood next to her meal ticket and she said, you know what? This little heart of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Oh, and if you guys don't know, William has been going crazy, projecting on Harry, talking about he's a spoiled brat who does this and that. We're gonna get into that, but Sussex Squad, what's up? How you doing? Listen, I got your DMs, I got your messages. I'm gonna start being more on top of it. I'm gonna try to at least put out 3 to 5 Sussex Squad videos a week. Again, just rock with me, okay? Because you know I love this. I follow this stuff religiously. But anyway, Sussex Squad. Imagine a lazy bum who is so obsessed with optics, looking athletic, looking like the hot one, looking like this, looking like that you literally schedule a volleyball game to show, we're putting it into this narrative now, where you are dunking on looks like 8 or 12-year-olds, right? To show how athletic you are. A person that cannot be bothered to do anything for their country unless it involves an international stage. I mean, he said, forget about the homeless in Britain, forget about the wage recap, forget about the rise of extremism, forget about the fact that the average living wage is going down, forget about the fact that people don't have quality childcare or food or even anything for the winter, or can't even afford heat. Forget about all that. We need to fly down to Brazil and hang out with Kylie Minogue, what's her name? Mega, and hang out with all my celebrity friends. Cause I want to show Harry that I'm popular too. Yo, William is such a clown, but at this point, I'm actually happy for this because, like, think about it. What if the roles were reversed? And what if Harry was the one that, like, what if William's what if William had Harry's charisma and work ethic? Do you know how bad that would be? We would literally be looking at the expansion of the monarchy. We would be looking at the expansion of the monarchy. We'd be looking at the expansion of the monarchy. And you know what? I'm glad that William is such a clown. I'm glad that William, doesn't do anything right. I'm glad that William just messes up on everything. And William, the future King of England, the only thing he can do is make a surprise cameo on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, that's cute and everything. I'm not going to lie, right? I'm not a fan of William, but whatever, right? Seeing somebody make But do you think he's also really mad at Harry because Meghan was on his favorite show? Because that's one thing everybody forgets and spares. He let it be known that William and Kate were super fans of Suits. And when they heard he was dating Meghan Markle, they couldn't believe it. Because William and Kate was like, yo, she's out of your league. She is out of your league. And then they met her and they were just like, oh, shoot. God dang it. Anyway, you guys, listen, let me get into this. First of all, let's talk. What do you want to talk about? The Earthshot Prize. I think that's a good one to talk about, the Earthshot Prize. What do you think about that? Here's the thing. I don't think that the Earthshot Prize is worth anything. I think it's just a vehicle. They don't even give people the $1 million all at once. They nickel and dime them over 10 years, giving them 100,000. The Earthshot Prize raised, I think, got like maybe 30 or 40 million in donations, and 90% of that has been spent on top heavy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, they said Prince William's no-show at the Festival of Remembrance at the Royal Albert Hall on 80th anniversary of the end of the Second War was bewildering, and enough to make many of us worry about our future king's priorities. Keep in mind, for everybody that's going to be like, no, William was busy with Earthshot. What are you talking about? William sets his own schedule for Earthshot. He chose to be absent during Earthshot. He chose it. He could have come back. He could have scheduled it one day before, so he was back the day before. He scheduled this and didn't care. Because at the end of the day, William doesn't care about his country. He doesn't even care about all the monarchists. Oddly enough, they were worried about Harry. Harry just wanted respect and to modernize the monarchy. I think William actually wants to destroy the monarchy. But let's listen to what his own subjects said. Was it really more important for him to make a speech at the discredited COP30 UN Climate Change Summit and visit a remote island in Brazil than be here on this island, this Britain, honoring our war dead and marking one of the most important days in history? Yes. He was back in time to lay a wreath at the Centaur the next day. But his absence in the royal box was all too conspicuous on Saturday night. That's the only reason Kate got to be in the royal box. I'm just saying. His place alongside King Charles, Queen Camilla, and Catherine was taken up nobly by his son George. His own son is working more than him. But I think that Kate likes that because, like, Kate knows, aptly she should, that George is the only thing keeping her around. And she needs to hold on tight to George in order to continue to like enjoy the luxuries of being William's wife. And William, who was notoriously cheap, I mean, let's be real, William is just tight-fisted. So without George, I 100% believe that William would kind of just have Kate living in like a little cottage, dressed like a starving peasant, and wouldn't even care, right? Because look at the way he did her parents, not giving them a penny after they grifted everything off of his name, and he could have paid it so easily. Oh, William's so cheap. Anyway, they said no one will have missed the fact that William is dedicated to solving the world's climate problems, to save the planet for his children and his children's children. Yet was anyone captivated by his impassioned speech or his worthy yet underwhelming Earthshot Prize awards on TV? An article in the India Times had a point when it highlighted the fact that the prince flew 5,500 miles to Brazil to lecture the world on climate change. And he flew private, by the way. But, that's typical rich people stuff, right? Because when they say we need to stop and do this and that, he's not talking about him and his friends. No, he's saying they want all the poors to stop so they can keep continuing along with their merriment of destroying the country and the planet, right? They said COP is a talking shop for the self-aggrandizing rich, the puffed up and powerful, pontificating about how to save the world as they arrive in their gas-guzzling private jets. Since the conference of the parties, climate gathering started 30 years ago in 1995. The greenhouse gas emissions worldwide have increased by 65%, hardly a successful record. Far better than the hand-wringing speech and the week of photo opportunities in Brazil, playing beach volleyball with children, hugging babies, taking selfies with locals and visiting indigenous tribes would have been for William to have gone to the Royal Albert Hall here in Blighty. It should have been an unmissable event in his diary, and his absence is a worrying indication of what royal duties, now take precedence in his life. He and his family were also a no-show for the traditional annual Easter egg church service and walkabout at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, choosing instead to spend family time in Norfolk with Kate and the kids. It's an understandable sentiment, but Easter is seen as the most important date in the Christian calendar, and whether he likes it or not, William will one day be the supreme governor of the Church of England. Attendance at such events comes with the job description. All right, my fear And also, that's their fear. My hope is that William, rushing around the world to lecture us on climate change, comes across as turning his focus away from people's everyday concerns. At a time when a recent, IP Ipsos poll revealed national pride has plummeted and British society is now more divided than ever, he should be seizing their every opportunity to restore a sense of patriotism and belief in Britain, to rekindle the magic of the monarchy. Okay, pause. Oh, what wrong? Your great white hope, your great savior, won't even stay in Britain long enough to say, whites forever. Aw, what the matter? He won't promote. He's so lazy and such a grifter that you're mad that, first you were happy because you're like, yeah, William, don't say anything about immigration. Don't say anything about any ethnic groups. Don't say anything about anything like that. No. That's right. You let them know you don't care. Let's just go have a pint with the lads. But now you're mad because you thought that he wasn't commenting on all that stuff because he wasn't woke like Harry. And he didn't have to comment on it like Harry. Until you found out the reason he wasn't commenting on it is because he didn't give a damn. And now that you need him to comment, now that you need him to come out and say something, he is like, if you don't get off my phone, because at the end of the day, William wasn't commenting not because he wanted to stick it to wokeness. He wasn't commenting because he doesn't care. And the other half of it is he don't care about y'all either. You got the king you deserve. Anyway, they go on to say, the answer is not to shrink away from royal duties here in Britain. It is to take heed of the ordinary people who truly want the monarchy to succeed in an increasingly fragile world, where Republicans are on the march. As his wise grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth, once said, when life seems hard, the courageous do not lie down and accept defeat. Instead, they are more determined to struggle for a better future. Shut your dumb ass out. You know what? I'm sick of this weird respect everybody has for Queen Elizabeth. She was a racist. She was a xenophobe. And she put the okay for Harry and Meghan to be ostracized. You know why you know that? Because she fought for Andrew. She gave up millions for, literally, 15 million for Andrew's settlement at least. She fought for Andrew. She did everything she could to protect her baby boy. And what did she do for Harry and Meghan, whose sin was burying a black woman? I'm sure the Queen thought that Harry was just going to have his fun with her, and they were then going to chase her away, and that was going to be an important thing from the royal family. At the very least, Harry, I know that he says that's his grandmother. I don't care. Because here's the thing. Harry looks at his family as his family, and fine. But I look at them as a racist, xenophobe structure who was literally built on the blood, sweat, and tears of all of our ancestors. Every jewel they wear, every crown, every state banquet, every event, that gold, those diamonds, the emeralds, the rubies, everything. We're like, oh my God, all the money, all the power. It was literally leached and bled from our ancestors. I will not be happy until every single diamond, ruby, crown, tiara, I don't give a damn, and those gold candlestick holders are returned back to the countries and nations and people that they robbed it from. That's my point. So when I look at Harry's biggest saving grace is that he left that family. Queen Elizabeth doesn't get the same thing. She is who we know her to be. Prince Philip, racist, xenophobe, proud racist. King Charles, look at, that guy's name? Jimmy Savile or whatever, that monster. One of Queen Elizabeth's best PR people. She loved him down and let him literally ravage the children of the country. My point of the matter is to say, man, forget this monarchy. Honestly, and I'm sick of everybody acting like, oh, the queen, at the queen too. She was the OG, but guess what? She at least knew to work. She at least knew to say, well, we can't grift these people and then not do anything. So let's show up, kiss some babies, do this, do that, because it allows us to be billionaires and still control the tax system and everything else. It made people forget that they are still in a fiefdom. They are still in a kingdom, and they are the peasants. William's so lazy and stupid that he doesn't even realize you got to keep the grift going. And for that, I will forever be grateful. Anyway, listen, as that deadbeat queen said, when life seems hard, the courageous do not lie down and accept defeat. Instead, they are more determined to struggle for a better future. Another her great sayings is, I have to be seen to believe. Again, she was the original IG influence, a consummate con artist. And again, I'm sure they end the article saying she didn't mean being seen at a COP summit on the other side of the world. Man, listen, all hail King William. He is going to bring about the end of the monarchy. He is the royal antichrist. And baby, we love to see it. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.